Good morning from CMS College Kottayam. It is with great pleasure that I welcome all the resource persons and participants to Day 3 of WRQ 2021. I'm sure that by the end of this webinar, many of us will be enriched with knowledge shared by our plenary speakers. In today's schedule, we are having two plenary talks, which will be followed by the paper presentation session. The first plenary speaker for the day is Professor Quan Lin Lee. Professor Quan Lin Lee is a full-time professor at School of Economics and Management, Beijing University of Technology, China. He received a PhD degree from Institute of Applied Mathematics, Chinese Academy of Sciences, Beijing. His research interests include stochastic models, Markov processes, game theory, mean field theory, queuing networks, and more. Today, Professor Quan Lin Lee will talk to us on the title, A New Theoretical Framework of Pyramid Markov Processes for Blockchain Selfish Mining. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Today, my talk is about a new theoretical framework of a pyramid Markov process for blockchain self-mining. I work at Beijing University of Technology. The contents of this talk: importance and motivation of this research. What is self-mining in blockchain? A. Proof of work. B. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and cross-chain. My first work is about two minimum pools. In this work, we set up a pyramid Markov process, a pyramid Markov reward process, and a pyramid Markov decision process. Follow this, we study another work, multiple minimum pools, tree representation, the law of a large number, key probability, blockchain growth rate, reward allocation. Blockchain is important for digital currency and digital economy. Digital currency is alternative form of electronic currency. Digital currency is an unregulated digital currency used issued and management by developers, accepted and used by members of a specific virtual committee. Digital economic is another economic form in which human beings can guide and raise required optimal allocation and regeneration of resource and achieve high quality economic development through recognition, selection, filtering, storage, and the use of big data, digital technology, and information. For the blockchain, Black is the 2008 by Nakamoto. By the paper this. For the Bitcoin is cryptographic currency based on ideas from hashing keys, one and by money, which aimed to complement distribute fee or train oscillating and at least somewhat among most. These two paper. What is blockchain? Blockchain is a P2P network. Distribute systems, consensus mechanism, network security, privacy protection, encryption techniques. Blockchain is multiple techniques together. Blockchain is a hierarchical comprehensive database. Blockchain works in a internet work environment. Blockchain operates under consensus mechanism of distributed systems. Blockchain needs security and privacy protection. Blockchain needs the encryption, information, cloud, mobility, edge, internet of things, quantum, and other technology. Blockchain is a more complicated systems. Blockchain have many applications, include finance, IoT, public service, reputation systems, and security. Blockchain include reward fee and electric price allocation method and minimum management proof of work, chain tree DG, and Ethereum smart contract cross chain, side chain, consensus mechanism, PLS, DPLS, BFT, PBFT. For this, we use the multiple process, give us some models for blockchain. For the reward fee throughput, we use the mathematical tools. For example, graphics, hypergraphics, networks, subnetworks, complex networks. Another markup process, queuing networks, game theory, control theory, and the service types is the mean management, PLW, PLS, DPOS, BPFT. The first class of the mathematical problems research on mean management, manners, selfish, selfless, pause, homogeneous, inhomogeneous, and rewards, cooperation, real priority. Research on the minimum management include incident management decision, resource, information, share, risk, energy saving, price, cost, profit. The second class of the mathematical problems research on consensus management in distributed systems is the consensus type, consensus economic computational power POW, system stock POS, DPOS, BFT, PBFT modified, and the convergence internet work relationship Byzantine agreement, consensus affection. So the third class of mathematics is the research on system performance and optimization, queuing network, selfish, microprocess, homogeneous, inhomogeneous, reward and decision, local level and system level, performance evolution, revenue management, system structure, performance optimization, risk management, organize framework. The fourth class of mathematical problems research on economic and market. Innovation of blockchain, rate direction, cost of verification, cost of networking. ICT innovation, economic organization, corporate governance, innovation, governance. 2018 economic class, finance model, national finance policy, international relation, internet of things, sharing economic. We first develop a mathematical model for the blockchain with only one mean pool. This is the queuing model. Here is the Hessian variables. It is Poisson process which the rate lambda classification in Q here, and the transactions put the block with the size B, It's 1, 2, P, -1 and P. And here is the meaning process to solve mathematical problems with finite noise. Put is the block here. This is the block is finished. A block enters the block chain here. This is the first and one is here. Here we have two process: block generation process and blockchain building process. For these building systems, we use the Markov process. This is the Markov process. It is the sample. It is not a QBD. For this Markov process, we give some the stable condition and stationary probability vector. We give the blockchain with systems with one mini pores. We give it the performance management. This work published here, the blockchain queuing theory international conference computational social network Springer and this. For blockchain with many ports, we have two class ports. One is a self-place meaning port and many self-face meaning ports. Two class. And why have two class ports? It is due to profit motivations. Okay. And in 2020, we have 10 large ports in our world. It is here. In this work, we consider two meaning ports. This work published here a new theoretical from works of railroad Markov process for blockchain self-finish meaning. This is journal of system science and systems engineering, and November 2021 to 21. We here is the authors is my谢夏长、姚乐吴 and 郭清章。For this, our works is the two course. This honest meaning poor. Honoring meaning poor some meters dampen the disapproval. This is rate, and this is dishonest meaning rate is here, and this is the honest meaning rate is this poor. For the two pores, we have competitive process from here. This is the honest meaning box in the main chain. It is the dishonest meaning blocks. From here is the two leader to competitive criterion. It is the okay. The blockchain is the subchain. This okay, and this subchain is not okay. In this round of competition, this round and the another round similar. We have is this competitive process. We give some of the model description. We have a 7 point. One is this. One, the block generative process. We assume that the block made by the dishonest and honest pore have formed two block branch forked at a common tree root, and the growth of the two block branch are boson process with block generating rate alpha and beta. Alpha is equal to this, and R is the efficiency increase rate of the dishonest managing pool. Alpha over 4 is regarded as a net managing rate when all the minimum of the dishonest managing pool equals honest. That is a net managing rate of the honest managing pool. 2. The dumping managing rate. The dishonest managing pool have more advantages than the honest managing pool, so it can attract some of the honest managing to jump into the honest managing pool. Let gamma be the net jump managing rate of such jump managing. Then after jump, the block generation rate of the dishonest and the honest managing pool are given by this and this respectively. Overcome the 51% attacks. It is narrowly limited jump managing rate. Later, this and this we obtained this formula. this formula, this is the figures. 3. The blocked package of the main chain. The network parties always make some delay for each block package on the blockchain. Thus, the block package time is used to price the network latency, and it is a time interval that begins at the broadcast time of a block until the block is on the blockchain. Currently, the blockchain packet time contains two different parts: broadcast time and verification time by the various manners. Also, the broadcast time is always longer than the verification time because the verification is very short. When main chain is formed, then the mining process is terminated immediately, and the whole mining is on the blockchain. We assumed the blockchain at the time are independent and indicate ID and exponential with mean 1/mu. Note that the new block can be generated during the block package process of the main chain. Thus, the mining process stop. Once the mini chain is packaged on the blockchain, then a new managing competition immediately starts on the two new block branch for another common tree root. 4. The returning time of the orphan blocks. Since orphan block cannot be packaged on the blockchain, it has to return to the transaction pool. We sum the return time. Each orphan block is exponential with mean 1/mu. 5. The two block leading competitive comparison. The mean by the honest mining pool. Once the honest mining of blocks is the two blocks kind of the dishonest chain of blocks, then the honest chain of the blocks is the mean chain. In this case, the fixed process of the two block branch ends immediately, and the forming chain is attached on the blockchain. At the same time, all the blocks of the dishonest chain immediately becomes orphan blocks, and of them need to be returned to the transaction pool with repaying any new fee. The mean by the dishonest mining pool. Once the dishonest of chain is the key block head of the honest chain of block for larger than 2, then the its owner's chain of block is taken as the main chain. Based on this, the two keys are considered as for this. With probability decay, the whole in chain is edged on blockchain, and the forked process of the two blockchain ends immediately. Also, all the blocks of the owner's chain immediately become orphan blocks, each of which is returned to the transition core. With probability 1 minus pk, the dishonest meaning core is not focused and the chain such it continue to many more block to large in the main chain. To take the main chain on the blockchain, finally, we assumed this limit is equal to 1. Under the 6, the reward blockchain generate and edged on the blockchain. Once a blockchain is generated and edged on the blockchain, then the minimum pool of generating this block can obtain an appropriate amount of reward or compensation from the two paths. Block reward RP is a block system. Every total transaction fee RF. It is possible the transaction and their number contains this block are different of each other. For the sake of simplification, we take average total transaction fee RF of each block. Obviously, RP plus RF is the total reward received by a minimum pool who generates and takes the block on the blockchain. Note the two minimum pools do not receive any blockchain reward and transaction fee from any orphan block. And the minimum cost is the two keys. The attractive charge and the administrative fee, the two parts for this in the two block branch rank at a common tree rate, we denote by AT and IT number of blocks many by the honest and dishonest minimum pools at MT respectively. It is clear IT and JT is a continuous time markable process whose state space is given this, and level 1, level 0, level 1, and level T is set. From the state, we can give the state transition matrix, probability matrix. Here it is the state transition relation for this Markov chain relation, state relation. The this figure, we can set up the infinite small generator of this mark chain. It is this. And for the pyramid Markov process, we have following results. Theory 1, the pyramid Markov process Q must be irreducible and positive recurrent. The theorem 1. Theorem 2, the station probability vector is of the pyramid Markov process is matrix geometrics given by this. For the pi0, pi1 are terminated by means of solving this the system also for linear equation. This matrix geometrics solution is different from that of Michel-Newts. The rate matrix is different. We can provide the process for the rate matrix. In the theory 3, the average station length of mean chain is given this formula. Here is the honest meaning pool. This is for the dishonest meaning pool. The average station length of the chain of often is given. Is the honest meaning pool. This is the dishonest meaning pool. Theory 4, the stationary block chain such the rate of the mean is given. This is the honest meaning pool. This is honest meaning pool. The station often block removed rate of the chain of the often block is given. The two parts. So we set up a period Markov reward process. We give a rate analysis. This Markov chain, this function, and we give a mean. And we take the limit and takes the limit. From my book, my 2010 book, we give the long run average profit of the honest meaning pool. This formula. And the theory 10, the log run average the profit of dishonest mean pool is given. This another formula. My table is the 40 and 50. Okay. Okay. theory 12. In the blockchain self-minimum, the two low-range average profit RH and RD are all multivariate linear for the three key parameters is RP plus RF and CE and CE. From this, following the theory 12, we give interesting results. Theory 13. In the block self-meaning, there exists a minimal positive number V such that for this blockchain can be at the normal operations state. We define two performance measures to measure the effectiveness of self-face meaning pool. We have two indexes. In the blockchain self-meaning, each of two low-range rates, this and tau, increase as the efficiency increase, the rate are increase. Corollary. For the two for the our formulas, we give some numerical expression. It here for this LM, LO, R5 and RH, RD, and tau and tau. We give some of the numerical expressions. So we can consider another the work, the representation block hedged rates and reward allocation and algorithm with the multiple meaning pools. For the multiple meaning pools, the competition process is a tree. T3 is the owner's pool is, and this pool, and the other this pool, and then it is a tree. Each branch corresponds to one pool. Later set denote the tree with M+1 subchain. This subchain managed by one owner's meaning pool, and M is owner's managed chain, where L0 is the subchain managed by the owner's managing pool, and LI is the subchain managed by the owner's managed pool for I is equal to 1 to M. With this, we have the L0 and LA. To the header for L1 is this. 1 is this, and no this, here is 0. And the L1 only H1, this H1 and this. And LK, it is LK, it's here, and this is mathematical price, From this, we give the blockchain. We have five types of block. Is the regular blocks in the main chain, and the open block, steel block, uncle block, and the Newfen block. Here is the Newfen block. Here is the regular block. It is here is the uncle block. Is the steel block. It is here the uncle block and the steel block. For the following two figures are similar. Firstly, we gave the analysis of the number of mean pin that can be set up the honest minimum pool and this honest minimum pool C using the range of the minimum competition. We note by H and C the number of the honest minimum pool and this honest minimum pool C can set up the mean, can set them respectively. It is clear this and this. Thus we have this probability. Number 1, in the POW in theorem with muting minimum pool using the law of large number as goes to infinite, we have this is the probability and this is the probability and this is the probability. In the form, we have another probability and this probability and this probability and this probability and this probability, this probability. For is consider the five types of blockchain. This is the 5 types blockchain. We have the probability using the law of a large number. In the POW theorem with the material minimum pool using the with the mean and the mean and the mean. This VI and the random variable, and it is worth to note that in the POW form, the completely minimum process of the multiple minimum pool is repeated round after round, as we repeat the experiment under the same condition. Thus, the moment of one round of minimum competition is over, and the next round of minimum competition begins immediately are all renewal points. That is, let dk is the ice moment that the ice round meaning competition is over and the A+1 round of meaning competition begin mentally. For sample of analysis, we sum T0 is 2, the first round of the meaning competition begins at this. Then TK is a renewal process in the computational meaning of multiple meaning pools. We sum there are MK blocks of mean chain in the time interval. This of all which are arranged on the blockchain. In fact, TK minus 1 and TK also represent such a time interval that the round of meaning competition are underway. We sum the first round of meaning competition began at time 0. Let MT be the number of blocks of all the meaning chain generated in the time interval. Note that all the input are put on the blockchain. So the following theory provides the growth rate of blockchain in the POW theorem with multi-money pool. In this the theorem, if ET1 is smaller than infinite, and as K goes to infinite, we have this limit, and this limit. For this mean, it is this formula. This theorem is by using the renewal theory. Let the RHR and RIR by the reward obtained by the honest meaning pool of this dishonest meaning pool A in the R round of competition for this. Using the law of large number, we have this formula. Formula is the reward by this pool or another pool. This is the next pool. This is the honest pool. And the following respectively provide the renewal rate allocated to all as the minimum pool and this pool in the POW service multiple minimum pool. This we give 4 limits results. 4 results. For the mean, and as the T goes to infinite, we have 4 limit results, where the mean RH1 equal to this, and RC1 is equal to this. And for the multiple meaning pools, we give some of the experiments. Our convergence rate is very fast for the blockchain.
How much more time you require? Could you complete in 5 minutes? Hello?
Okay. 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 For the Earth rim with multiple meaning pores, our work may be only one beginning of theoretical analysis. We need to introduce more basic mathematical tool to consider security province, throughput, and economic benefits and economic efficiency. Many open problems are left and solved in this research direction. We sample introduce the importance of blockchain from digital economic and social perspective. We analyze several types of market process of blockchain and show that it will be interesting but difficult and challenging in such a study. The probability theory play a key role in the first development of blockchain technologies. The probability theory of blockchain is just as the beginning. We cannot provide the specifics yet. Okay, my talk is over. Thanks for your comments. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Kwan Lin Lee. Moving to the next plenary talk, Professor Vivek Bokar is an Indian electrical engineer, mathematician, and Institute Chair Professor at the Indian Institute of Technology, Mumbai. He is known for introducing analytical paradigm in stochastic optimal control processes. Today, Sir will speak on the title Dynamic Choice Under Graphical Constraints. Over to you, sir. Sir, you may take the 15 minutes time allotted to you, even though we have run a bit late.
Okay, sir, thank you. Good morning to one and all. I am Sindhu. I am doing PhD at Kochi University of Science and Technology under the guidance of Professor A. Krishnamurthy. The title of my paper is Map PH1Q with the discarding customers having imperfect service. The content is model description, real life example, mathematical formulation, stability condition, steady state probability vector, analysis of service time of customer, waiting time analysis, and some other performance measures and cost function numerical results. Model description. Here we in this paper, we consider a model, single server queuing model. Here, the arrival process follows map with a representation D is equal to D0, D1 of order M, and the service time follow continuous phase time distribution beta S of order N. When a customer enters into a service, a generalized alarm clock is started simultaneously. The clock has K stages. The pth stage parameter is represented as theta P for 1 less than or equal to P less than or equal to K. If a customer completes the service in between the realization of the stages K1 and K2, 1 less than K1 less than K2 less than K of the clock, it is perfect. If a customer completes the service either before the K1 stage realization or after the K2 stage realization, he is discarded. The expected service rate is mu equal to beta minus S inverse in E, the whole inverse. Let D is equal to D0 plus D1 be the infinite symbol generator matrix of the arrival process, and delta B is stationary probability vector such that delta D equal to 0 and delta E equal to 1. The constant lambda is equal to delta D1 E refers to as a fundamental rate, gives us the expected number of arrivals per unit time. I point out some real life example of this model. This queuing model can be applied in various fields in our day-to-day life. For example, in a food manufacturing unit, the correct baking time of a product is a crucial factor. If the baking time is more, the product will be bad and it will be useless. On the other hand, if the baking time is not sufficient, the product will be only be half cooked and will not be acceptable. Another in chemical industry, suppose we considering the manufacturing of nylon wires and firms. In the manufacture of nylon and nylon, caprolactam, that is a chemical used in raw material, is melted and molten. Caprolactam is typically formalized is previously optimized the conditions of temperature, pressure, and concentration of the catalyst, etc. Further, the output of the above process is subjected to another process like extrusion or calendering. Extrusion is used to produce nylon wires, whereas calendering is used to produce nylon films. The condition of this is also optimized one, in which any variation will cause defective wires and film, which will not be suitable for end use. The condition is optimized based on laboratory and pilot plant situations. Now we can come to the mathematical formulation. First, we define the following notation. N of t denote the number of customers in the queue at time t, and J of t representing the stages of the clock, IS of t representing the service space at time t, and I of t represent the phase of arrival processing at time t. Then N of t, J of t, IS of t, I of t, t greater than or equal to 0 is a level independent QBD process, QBD with the state space 0j, 1 less than or equal to j, and other state that is QPIJ, Q greater than or equal to 1, 1 less than or equal to P less than or equal to K, 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to 1, 1 less than or equal to J. Then the infinitesimal generator matrix of the continuous time Markov chain is Q star is this form, where B1 is a matrix of M by M matrix, which contains the transition within the level 0. B0 is an M by K2Mn matrix, which contains the transition from the level 0 to level 1. B2 is a K2Mn by M matrix, which contains the transition from level 1 to level 0. A0 represents the transition from n plus 1 to n to n plus 1 for all greater than or for n greater than or equal to 1. A1 represents the transition within n for n greater than or equal to 1, and A2 represents the transition from n to n minus 1 for n greater than or equal to 1. A0, A1, A2 all are square matrices of order K2 Mn by M. Then the matrices obtained are like these: B1 D0 and B0 is like this, B2 S0 beta Kronecker product IM, and like this. And A1 is the matrix obtained like this. A1 is the matrix E1 IM theta CU0 C2, where CI is represented as S Kronecker IM plus IN Kronecker D0 minus IM and theta I, 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to Q2. And A2 is the matrix obtained like this. And A0 is the matrix IN Kronecker D0. It is a diagonal matrix. Then come to the stability condition. The generator matrix A is equal to A0 plus A1 plus A2 is obtained like this. And pi is the steady state probability vector of the generator matrix A. The order of pi is 1 by K2 M by Mn. And each pi r's are of order 1 by nm for 1 less than or equal to r less than or equal to k equal to 0. We consider the equation pi a equal to 0 and pi e equal to 1. And using that equation, we get a system of equations. From that last equation, we can obtain pi k2 minus 1 in terms of pi k2. And by back substitution, we get all the pi r's, and finally using the equation pi 1e plus pi 2e etc plus pi k2 equal to 1, we obtain all pi i's. These are the values. Then the stability left drift is less than must be less than the right lift, that is pi a0e less than pi a2e. Then we obtain the condition sigma r is equal to 1 to k2 pi r of in Kronecker d1e less than R equal to 1 to K2 minus pi R of S0 beta Kronecker IM plus pi K2 into S0 plus En theta K2 into beta Kronecker IM into E. Then the steady state probability vector of Q. Let X be the steady state probability vector of Q, and X is denoted as X0, X1, X2, etc. X0 is dimension 1 by M. All the Xi's are of other Xi's are of dimension 1 by K2 by Mn. Under the stability condition, we have Xi is equal to X1 Ri minus 1, I greater than or equal to 1. Where the matrix R is the minimal non-negative solution of the matrix quadratic equation R square A2 plus Ra1 plus A0 equal to 0. And the vectors X0 and X1 are obtained by solving the equations X0 B1 plus X1 B2 equal to 0, X0 B0 plus X1 into A1 plus Ra2 equal to 0, subject to the normalizing condition X0 E plus to 1. Then they consider analysis of service time of a customer. We consider a Markov process y of t as j ordered by j of t is of t, t greater than or equal to t. J of t denote the stages of stages of the Erlang clock. T greater the is of t is the phase of service process at time t. Then the state space are obtained 1 k 1 2 etc k1 k2 cross set 1 2 etc k1 k2 cross 1 to x3 etc and union delta 1 and delta union delta 2, where the absorption occur two types. The absorption may occur the delta that we denoted as delta 1 and delta 2. Delta 1 denote the absorption occur due to the service completion, and delta 2 denote the absorption occur due to the realization of the K2th stage. Sorry, K2th stage of the Erlang block. Then the infinite simultaneous matrix is this one. The initial probability vector is alpha equal to beta 0, 0. The expected service time we calculated, that is expected service time E is equal to alpha into minus S1 inverse into E, where S1 is the matrix obtained like this. Then we consider the waiting time analysis of analysis. To find the expected waiting time of a particular customer who joined as the rth customer in the queue, we consider the Markov process W is equal to WT, T greater than or equal to 0, equal to order triplet N of T, J of T, IS of T, where T greater than or equal to 0. N of T is the rank of the customer in the queue at time T. J of T is the stages of the clock, and IS of T is the service stage. The rank of the customer is decreases by 1 when a customer ahead of him complete the service. Stage space of W2 is omega 2 equal to set R minus 1 etc 1 cross 1 2 etc K2 cross 1 2 3 etc union N union delta 0, where delta 0 denote the stage absorbing state. That absorbing state is the tagged customer selected for service. The infinite similar matrix is obtained like this. T is the matrix S minus theta I theta 1 I, S minus theta 2 I theta 2 I, etc. X minus theta K2I, and T0 is the matrix like this. Then let YRPI be the steady state probability that an arrival customer find the server is in busy with the current service phase I, and Erlang clock is in pth level, and the number of customers in the system including the current arrival to be R. If for 1 less than or equal to P less than or equal to K2 and 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to N. I representing the vector steady state probability YRS, YR11, YR12, X1, YR1, then YR21, YR22, etc., YR2N like that. Then YR is equal to XR minus 1 into I Kronecker D1 by lambda, where R greater than or equal to 2. The waiting time is the time until absorption of the marker chain given by W. Let a WS denote the Laplace Still-Just transform of waiting time in the system of an arrival. Then Laplace Still-Just transform of waiting time distribution of an arrival customer is WS is equal to C into sigma Ri is equal to 1 to infinity YR Si minus T the whole inverse into T0 into beta into Si minus T the whole inverse T0 the whole raised to R minus 1. Where real is greater than or equal to 0, where the normalizing constant C is given by C is equal to sigma R to infinity YR E the whole inverse. Some other performance measures are probability that the system is empty is P0 equal to S0C, probability that Q customers in the system P of CQI represented, and SQE, probability the server is busy is like this, expected number of customers in the queue, expected number of customers in the system, rate of customers discarded in the K1 stage realization of Ernococker, rate of customers discarded after K2 stage realization of the Erlang clock, RK2 I represented that, and it is sigma q is equal to 1 to infinity, sigma I is equal to 1 to infinity, sigma j is equal to 1 to infinity, xq k2 ij theta k2, and rate of customers perfectly complete the service is sigma I is equal to 1 to infinity, sigma p is equal to 1 to k2, sigma I is equal to 1 to n, sigma j is equal to 1 to m, xq p I j e s0. And the cost function, to minimize the loss, we construct a cost function as follows. CK1 is the unit time cost of service when customer is discarded before K1 stage realization of the Erlang clock. And CK2 denote the unit time cost of service when customer is discarded after K2 stage realization of Erlang clock. HC denote the holding cost of customer unit time in queue. Then the cost function is RK1 into CK2. RK1, RK2 denote the rate of customers discarded before the K1 stage realization. RK2 denote the rate of customers discarded after the K2 stage realization. ECQ denote the expected number of customers in the queue. Then we do some numerical analysis. For the arrival numerical results obtained like this. For the arrival process of customers, we consider the following two set of matrices. Mapped with the positive correlation, D0 equal to minus 1.6349, 1.63490, 0 minus 1.84880, 0, 0, minus 48.557, and D1 is the matrix 0, 0, 1.784046, 0, 0.0642, 1.6854, 0, 46.8716. Then we consider a negative correlated map with a negative correlation where D0 and D1 are the matrices obtained like this. These two map processes are normalized so as to have an arrival rate of 1. The arrival process labeled MNC has correlated arrivals with a correlation between two successive inter-arrival times given by minus 0.4559 and the arrival process corresponding to one labeled MPA whose positive correlation is with a value 0.559. We can say I taking the values for theta I, that is here I taking K1 equal to 2 and K2 equal to 4. Therefore, K1, K2, K3, K4 are the values. Therefore, for theta first I taking 30, 30.1, 30.2, 30.3 like that. Second, set a 31 to 31.3. Third, 30 to 32.3. Here, when the theta value increases, all the performance measures decreases except the rate of customers discarding after the K2 realization. And the loss will be the minimum when theta value increasing. Here, I taking the previous case, I taking the generalized Erlang clock. Here, I taking the Erlang clock. All the stages are of same rate. First, all theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, theta 4 are taken as 30, then 31, 32, 34 there. Then the results obtained are like this. Then Markov and arrival process with the negative correlation is obtained here. Compared to map with the positive correlation, all the performance values are lower than the above case. These are the values. These are my reference. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Audience, please, any questions, any clarification? No? Okay, just I want one clarification. Why you are expecting a loss? You are spending by, where is the loss in your model?
Because,
want to minimize the loss.
When we consider when we considering the manufacturing system, if the product is not perfect, the raw material we used will lose. At the same time, the service cost is occur there. Holding the customer in the queue, that cost is also occur there. Therefore, if the
Actually,
product service is not perfect, then there will be a loss.
you are depend only the cost function. What is the amount you are going to spend because of certain parameters that you are assuming certain cost, and you want to minimize the cost. That is the minimization of loss. The word loss is questionable. No? Is there any profit are you expecting?
Oh, okay.
It's a technology used everywhere, but it must be meaningful because there is no loss in this model. Actually, what you are getting is it's only a cost you are investing it, and then you want to minimize the cost.
Okay, sir.
Right? Right. Okay, fine. If there is no question, we congratulate the presenter for his nice presentation and giving a useful model. Thank you. Next speaker in my attendance is not there. Again, I call upon the item number 18, PP03F102, application of pentagonal fuzzy number in Erlang service field model. Anybody here? Neelam Kumari.
Hello.
Yes. Bajjot Singh.
Yes, sir. I'm audible.
Okay. Yeah, your voice is audible now. Now
Good afternoon, all of you. My topic is application of pentagonal fuzzy number in Erlang service queuing model. Good afternoon, all of you. My topic is application of pentagonal fuzzy number in Erlang service queuing model. Queuing model has many applications in the field of such as machine plants, airports, communication network, banking, medical industry, etc. A.K. Erlang introduced his first publication in the field of waiting line theory in the year of 1909. After that, various researchers continuously working in the field. Researchers given various techniques to solve queuing problems in most of the real-life queuing problems. Service rate and arrival rate have many uncertainty, such as uncertainty can be solved with the help of fuzzy set theory. This theory plays a very important role in the field of queuing theory. Fuzzy queuing model is a new approach to solve queuing problem, and his result is more realistic than the crisp queuing theory. There is a different techniques to solve fuzzy queuing model. Here we use AlphaCut technique to convert crisp Erlang service model to fuzzy Erlang model. Various researchers use fuzzy set theory to solve queuing problem, namely Lee and Lee, Buckley, Chin, Negi, and Lee, and Srinivasan. Here we use pentagonal fuzzy number. Pentagonal fuzzy number X, variable X1, X2, X3, X4, and X5 should be satisfying following conditions. First, membership function is continuous function in the interval 0, 1. And second, membership function is strictly an increasing function and continuous function on X1, X2 closure interval and X2, X3 closure interval. And membership functions, strictly decreasing function and continuous function on X3, X4 and X4, X5 closure intervals. Here we use linear pentagonal fuzzy number. A linear pentagonal fuzzy number with symmetry is written as X1, X2, X3, X4, X5, and R. The corresponding membership functions can be written as mu X. Here, whenever X1 to X2, here this is the membership value, and whenever X2, X3, 1 minus R into X minus X2 upon X3 minus X2, and then whenever X equal to X3, this membership value is 1. Then whenever x vary from x3 to x4, this is the membership value 1 minus r, x3 minus x, and x4 minus x3. Whenever the value of the variable x4 to x5 are x5 minus x upon x5 minus x4, and 0 whenever x greater than x5, where value of r is strictly greater than 0 but less than 1, and this is the graphically representation of pentagonal fuzzy number. This is the value of x1, and here is the value of x2, and here the membership function value equal to 1, and at this point decreasing, and so at x5 this again value is 0. Alpha cut or parametric form of a linear pentagonal fuzzy number. Fuzzy number is represented by the formula x alpha, where a membership function is greater than equal to alpha. Here is x1 1L for different value 0 to r. This is the value of x. Whenever r to 1, this is the value of x2. And whenever alpha belongs to r to 1, this is the value of x. And whenever this is the 0 to r, last value of x. Here, fuzzy queue with a long service, consider a queuing system with m phases, single service channel, and abbreviated as FM1, in which incoming occur as a Poisson process with fuzzy rate lambda and service rate according to the Erlang M distribution with fuzzy rate mu. Service is completed according to the first come, first serve discipline, and the system capacity is infinite. The Erlang M time distribution is made up M series of independent and identical exponential phases with mean service rate is 1 by M mu. The arrival and service rate are defined by lambda and mu. And the corresponding alpha cut are lambda alpha and mu alpha. Here x and y are crisp rate, and lambda x and mu y are the corresponding membership function. Using these alpha cut, we have to define a membership function for the following measure of MEM1 first come first serve model. The mean waiting time in the queue is WQ, that is m plus 1 upon 2m into lambda upon mu into lambda mu minus lambda. And second, the mean number of customers in the system in the queue is LQ, that is lambda by WQ with the help of a little formula. The mean number of customers in the system L, that is LQ, meaning waiting line, plus lambda by mu. The mean waiting time in the system W, that is L by lambda. The arithmetic operations of two fuzzy intervals, let N1 and N2 be two interval number defined by the order of real number with lower and upper bound. If we consider N1, that is x1, x2, where x1 is less than x2, and N2 is another interval x3, x4, where x3 is less than x4, when we add two fuzzy arithmetic x1, x2 plus x3, x4, x1 plus x3, x2 plus x4, and x1, x2 minus x3, x4, x1 minus x4, and x2 minus x3. And then product of two interval x1, fuzzy interval x1, x2, x3, x4, that is the minimum of x1, x2, x1, x3, x2, x3, x2, x4, and maximum of same x1, x2, x1, x3, x2, x3, x2, x4. And similarly, division of two fuzzy interval x1, x2 into 1 by x4, 1 by x3, provided 0 is not belongs to that interval. If we multiply any scalar alpha x1, x2, alpha x1, alpha x2, and alpha x2, alpha time x1, whenever alpha greater than 0 and alpha less than 0. There is one of the approximate method to make interval at various alpha cut level in defining membership function. It was the full alpha cut interval in standard interval analysis. The DWS algorithm greatly simplify manipulation of the extension principle for continuous valued fuzzy variable, such as fuzzy variable defined on a real line. It relevant abnormality in the output of membership function due to application of discrimination each of the fuzzy variable domain. It can prevent dividing the result of functional expression by conventional interval analysis method. Any continuous membership function can be represented by a continuous swap of a alpha cut terms from 0 to 1, alpha equal to 0 to alpha equal to 1. Suppose we have single input mapping given by y equal to fx, that is the extension extended by membership function for a selected alpha cut level applications. We consider a FM, FM1 and FCFS queuing system where the arrival rate and service rate are pentagonal fuzzy number as we alpha 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and departure rate is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The confidence interval at possibility level defined as 1 plus 2 alpha, 5 minus 2 alpha, and 7 plus 2 alpha, and 11 minus 2 alpha. Then the mean waiting time in the queue, that is WQ, that is equal to m plus 1 upon 2m and x upon y into y minus x. The mean number of customer in the system in the queue WQ, that is lambda time WQ with the help of little formula, that is m plus 1 upon 2m and into x square upon y into y minus x. The mean number of customer in the system, that is LQ plus lambda by q, that is then mean waiting time in the system W, that is L by lambda m plus 1 upon 2m x upon y into y minus x plus 1 by y, where x is interval 1 plus 2 alpha, 5 minus 2 alpha, and y equal to 7 plus 2 alpha and 11 minus 2 alpha. When we consider particular value of m, that is equal to m equal to 3, and we find the value of LS, WS, LQ, and WQ for different level of alpha cut. For example, alpha equal to 0, 0.10, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and 1. We can calculate the different value of LS, WS, WQ, and LQ. And we can draw the graph between the different level of alpha cut from 0 to 1, and this is the value of LS. Then we can construct another graph that is between LQ and alpha, and this is the another graph that is the graph between WQ and alpha cut, and last that is the graph between the waiting time in the system and the different value of the alpha cut. We calculate alpha cut of incoming rate and departure rate of server's average number of items in the queue at different level of alpha, that is 0, 0.1, 0.2, and so on up to 1. Now fuzzy intervals of a fuzzy average number of items in the waiting line at different levels are defined in the list. In the same way, other characteristics measures such as average number of items in the system LS and average length of waiting line WQ, expected waiting time of an item in the waiting line WQ, and average waiting time of an item in the system WS, also shown in the list. The alpha cut denotes the possibility that these four characteristics measure will be lie in the given range. Particularly alpha equal to 0, the range of characteristics measure could appear, and for alpha equal to 1, the range of performance measure likely to be. For illustration, while these four characteristics measure of the fuzzy in nature, the expected queue length WQ is 0.1098, and its value is possible to fall outside 0.0059 and 1.82. It is possible that the average waiting time in the system LS, that is 0.1476, and it never fall below the 0.096 and expected exceed 0.3792. This information will be very helpful for the designer in the queuing system. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any questions, clarifications from the audience? No questions? Look back your membership function definition. Yes. What is that? 1 for x is equal to x3. Is it necessary?
No, sir. When we consider this is possible whenever x equal to its highest possible value, that is 1.
That is there in the next expression. x3 less than or equal to x. No, there itself. The form, the next definition. Look at this, x is lying between x3 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 4. When you put x equal to x3, you are going to get 1.
Sir, repeat. When we substitute value of the x,
x3.
Yeah.
What do you get? It's equal to 1. 1 minus r into 0.
Yes.
Right? Therefore, that 1 for x equal to x3 is not necessary.
That's why its value is also 1. Whenever we substitute the value of r equal to 0, but value of r is strictly less than 1, but not equal to 1.
Yeah, that's okay, fine. But whatever the value 1 minus r, we are going to get 0 only, x3 minus x. Otherwise, you have to put x3 strictly less than x.
Here, sir, at this place, whenever x, okay, sir.
In either case, that you are going to get 1. Therefore, that 1 is not necessary. You can remove that. The value of 1 minus r, even if it is 0, you are going to 0 multiplied by 0.
But when value of r is 0,
yeah,
this quantity is less than 1. They are shown in the graph that
r will never take 0. R will never take the value. And therefore, I think in my opinion, that 1 for x equal to x3 is not necessary.
Okay, sir.
Okay? Right.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Professor
Can you please correct it?
I would like to make a comment on the observation he made. Well, he said fuzzy approach is more accurate than the crisp probabilistic setup. And just comment on that. See, the parameters are not necessarily kept constant. See, they can be random variables. And therefore, that is taken care of by, I mean, that is what you are doing in fuzzy analysis, right?
That author has to give an answer. I give an answer, but he has to give an answer for this.
Hello.
Yes, please. Somebody has gone down.
Did you hear me, Mr. Baljo Singh?
Yes, sir. Yes.
What I said
this
is,
one for example, 3, 4, 5.
For example, when I say the service time parameter is mu, but mu can be taken as a random variable.
Yes, yes, sir.
And therefore, it is not crisp. It is again a probabilistic thing. And therefore, you can say it is another approach.
This can be changed. This is just for only example.
No, when you say it is more accurate, fuzzy approach is more accurate, I take exception to that. Because, well, we do not essentially say that the parameter should be a crisp value. It is determined, not necessarily. We can always go for randomness. You can
sir. Yes. That is possible, sir. That is also possible.
You can just say it is another approach. I would prefer to say like that rather than saying it is more accurate. This is my observation. And in fact, I have seen many probabilists telling me, say, for example, Marcel Newts, he was considered to be top in Queen's. He told me when I requested him to review a paper on fuzzy Qs, he just told me, no fuzziness. That was what he told me. Anyway, it's for the individual to decide whether it's no, something is acceptable or not. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe this service is fussy, explained by the word. Professor, this can be explained by the word. He is a fast server.
Oh,
He is a slow server. That slowness and then fast, that is fussy.
no, oh, no.
Yes.
But that also we can represent by the parameters.
This is very low.
Yeah, see how much low, how much high, we don't know. That is fussy. That is what we have to take into account.
Oh, no, no.
For example,
I do not.
at this place that is very low,
I do not agree with that. That's not. See, you can think about some.
See, another one. But the fussy character comes because of the description of the service.
Yeah.
He is a very slow server. He is a very fast server. That means we don't know, we cannot give anything. That is why it is coming into the level set.
Okay. All right. Okay, Professor Sakura. Thank you, Mr. Joseph Singh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, we congratulate the speaker and then we move on to the next speaker, 19 PP03 FN03, stability analysis of multi-server, multi-class system with the classical trials. Yeah. Yes, Professor, Rolazin or Marazo?
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I am Stepan.
Yes.
Now.
Please go ahead and then share your screen.
Yes. Okay. Can you see the slides? Fine. Yes. Good morning. My name is Stepan. I am a PhD student of Karelian Research Center, and I'm glad to present the presentation on stability analysis of multi-server, multi-class system with classical retrials. In introduction, we consider a multi-server, multi-class retrial system with classical retrials, and we present a new short proof of the sufficient stability or positive recurrence condition of the system. This proof is based on the analysis of the departures from the system and a balance equation between the arrived and departed work. Moreover, we extend this analysis to the system with outgoing calls. First, I describe the system. We consider a multi-class, multi-server retrial MG1Q with independent Poisson inputs of different classes of primary customers. Class I customers have generic exponential inter-arrival times, tau I, with rates lambda I. Class I customers also have service time, Sn, with generic service time, Si, and rate mu I. And there are class-dependent exponential retrial times for I from 1 to n. If an arriving class I primary customer finds all servers busy, he joins the corresponding infinite capacity orbit I. Then, after exponentially distributed times with the rate mu0, the customer attempts to capture server until he finds a server idle. Denote mu0 is equal to minimum of mu0i, and if the orbit size denoted by q large of t at q capital of at instant t equals n, then the retrial rate at this instant is lower bounded by mu0 multiplied by n. To describe the regenerative structure of the system, we denote by Q of t the total number of customers in the system at instant t minus. Let tk be the arrival instance of the superposed input person process, and Q of tk is equal to qk. Then the regeneration instance Tn of the process Qt, Q of t are recursively defined as the following, where t of 0 is equal to 0. The generic regeneration period is denoted by t. We call the regenerative process Q of t and the queuing system positive recurrent or stable if the mean regeneration period is finite, or E of t is less than infinity. And it implies stability of the system, that is the existence of the stationary distribution of the process Q of t. If E of t is equal to infinite, then the system is called null recurrent or unstable. Now denote by rho I by lambda over mu I, and rho is equal to the sum of rho I. Below we outline the proof of the following statement. If rho is less than 1, then the initially idle system under consideration is positive recurrent, or E of t is less than infinity. To prove this theorem, first denote by V I of t the total workload which class I customers bring in the system in time interval 0t. Also let V of t is equal to sum of Vi of t. Moreover, denote by W of t the remaining work in all orbits at instant t, and let I of t be the total idle time of all servers in interval 0t, and assume that the system is initially empty. Then the following balance equation holds. V of t is equal to W of t plus t minus I of t for t larger than 0. It is easy to find using the strong law of large numbers that with probability 1, this limit is equal to rho, regardless of whether the system is stable or not. Now we assume that the system is null recurrent, that is E of t is equal to infinite. And in this case, Q of t is converges to infinity in probability as t goes to infinity. We assume this fact, and this and we next we prove the contradiction of this fact. also denote by theta the generic regeneration cycle length measured in the number of arrivals. In other words, theta is the number of customers arriving in the system during a generic regeneration cycle. Then it follows then that T is equals stochastic by stochastic of this sum, and E of t is equal to E of theta multiplied by E of tau. As we mentioned above, in this research, we developed the proof based on the following form of the balance equation constructed at the departure instances, where we put Gn. Gn is the departure instances. And to simplify notation, denote by the following. Then, in particular, in the zero initial state case, when the first customer arrives at instant t1 is equal to 0 in an empty system, we obtain I of n is the sum of delta k, where delta k is the interval between cath and cath plus 1 departure. Note that the following uniform upper bound holds regardless of the states of orbits. Now we prove that under assumption 4, under assumption this assumption that Q goes to infinity, this limit is equal to 0. For an arbitrary epsilon large 0, take n1 such that for all n, C of n is less than epsilon, and also take n2 such that for all n large n2, this probability that Q is less than n is less than epsilon. And now we take n0, that is maximum of this n1 and n2, and let n large than n0. Then it follows that expectation of In is equal to this sum, and then we can write the second term as the following, using the total probability formula. And then it then follows from 10 and 11 that this limit is less than this finite constant. And then we have from the renewal theory that, and then this epsilon we can be orbitally small. So this limit is equal to 0. And also one can show that from the renewal theory with probability 1, also this limit is equal to 0. Now we divide both sides of 5. 5 is the balance equation by dn, and let n goes to infinity. And if we return to this equation, we prove that this term goes to 0. This is 1, and this is rho. And we obtain that this limit is equal to rho minus 1. And because this limit is larger than 0, because this is the remaining workload, it cannot be negative. And then we obtain this condition, and this condition is implying a contradiction with the assumption rho less than 1. And in other words, we prove that this Q, this assumption that Q is goes to infinity is not applying under this condition. And under this condition, Q of Dn is not goes to infinity. We note that this condition in this system holds automatically because the input process is Poisson. And then there are standard method by which we can show that the remaining regeneration time not goes to infinity, not converges in probability to infinity, and which in turn implies that the mean number of arrivals within a regeneration cycle less than infinity. And finally, by the Volt's identity, we prove the theorem that E of t is less than infinity. And now we consider a single server system with outgoing calls, and then extend this analysis to a multi-server case. Keeping previous notation, we assume that provided the server is idle, it generates the outgoing calls of k different types, and the rate of type I calls is gamma I, while the service times durations of class I calls are independent and identically distributed Zn with the finite mean. And in this system, the balance equation, again considered at the departure instance Tn, is modified as follows. So we add this term Zn in the left hand side. Zn is equal to sum of Bj, where Bj is the amount of work generated by the outgoing calls in the idle period between the nth or jth departure and j plus 1 initiation of service. And we can apply the previous proof to prove this equation. not a question, but theorem for this system. But the difference is in this. So where we divide by Gn, that where we divide Zn by Gn, we can write the right hand side by this, and we prove in the previous part that In over Dn is equal to goes to 0, and we can prove by the renewal theory that this term Zn over In either goes to 0 or equals to a finite number, and this also goes to 0. In conclusion, we consider a multi-server, multi-class retrial system. With classical retrials, we present a new short proof of the sufficient stability or positive recurrence condition of the system. And moreover, the analysis is extended to the system with outgoing calls. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. From the audience, any questions, clarification? Yeah. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Is there somebody else who is asking, who is about to ask questions? In that case, I will be in the queue. Okay?
Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, I can ask. Okay? All right. So, are you assuming that all the orbits have infinite capacity? Stepan? Are you assuming that all orbits?
Yes.
Because there are
Yes.
different classes of, they have all infinite capacity, right?
Yes, all orbits have infinite capacity.
Okay.
Yes.
Then I have the following, maybe logical. Suppose the retrial rate from an orbit is comparatively small, in the sense that other orbits have a much larger retrial rate. Is there not a chance for this slow retrial rate orbit to build up the queue size, the number of customers in that? And therefore, it may shoot to infinity ultimately. Is there a chance like that? Do you make any specific assumption regarding the retrials of customers from distinct orbits?
I'm sorry, I cannot understand your question.
No, let me just put it like this. Let's say theta 1, theta 2, so on, theta n are the retrial rates from the distinct orbits. Okay?
I'm sorry, I cannot hear.
You're not able to hear me?
Okay, I cannot hear well.
No, let's take the case of two orbits, n equal to 2, and then from one orbit the retrial rate is theta 1, the other it is theta 2. Suppose theta 2 is much larger than theta 1. Customers from the second orbit will be retrying at a very high rate, and therefore they are able to get access to the server than the customers from the first orbit, resulting in the first orbit size growing larger and larger.
Степан, можно я вам переведу, если вы поняли вопрос? Смотрите, если у вас случай с двумя орбитами, и на одной орбите интенсивность повторных вызовов гораздо больше, чем на первой орбите, тогда число заявок на первой орбите у вас будет расти, ну, неограниченно.
But then, see, there is another reason perhaps now I can find. With the orbit size increasing, the retrail rate will be keeping increasing because it is a linear retrail rate. So, but the other orbit, number of customers is less, and therefore, when you have a very large number of customers in the first orbit, retrail rate is going to be, from that orbit is going to be much larger. Okay, that in fact settles the problem. Thank you. So, then about Watt's theorem, you applied the Watt's theorem to get some product on the right hand side, expectation, the product of the expectations, right? I think it is slide 12, if I remember right. Can you go to slide number 12? There is you applied Watt's theorem to write the product. Are there some assumptions of independence of the random variables involved or conditional independence? What is that actually you are making?
Спрашивается, почему здесь рассматривается произведением от ожиданий? Почему это закон?
Of course, when in renewal theory, even when that sort of independence is not available, you can write it as the product.
This is the Waltz identity.
Yeah, Waltz identity. Yeah. So you are getting now the next relation, the right hand side, the product of two expectations, right? So I was
yes.
just trying to find out whether there is some sort of maybe it is the renewal theoretic argument you had just applied there, right? Is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in a renewal theory, there is a result where the Waltz theorem is just applied and then you are getting the product form. It's okay. So it is really nice talk. I really appreciate that. Kindly pass on my regards to Professor Ese and also to Dr. Alexander Bimantsev. Thank you. All the best.
Yes, thank you. Mm-hmm.
Other questions? Of course, there is one observation that anyhow, within the bracket you have given the explanation, choosing a subsequence, not necessarily the same you have written in bracket. Usually the subsequence you can put n, suffix or the suffix, another k. NK, yeah, exactly. There exists a subsequent, so you can write this as not n, nk, n suffix k.
Yes.
As n. Yeah.
N sub k. Mm-hmm.
It is only it's only the fashion of writing how to write a subsequence from the original sequence. That's all. How about the nk tends infinity as n tends infinity? That is the basic assumption. Fine. Now only this place you have to be careful. What is this limit of double question mark? The limit exists because the right hand side limit of the bracket exists. Is it 4 or 5 in your equation? Are you hearing me? Hello?
Yes. I.
So this question mark, the double question mark, the same page.
Okay, can you repeat, please?
It refers to which equation? Five or 4? Same page.
7th page.
The same page, whether it is 5 or 4. What is this? Right hand side of what? Okay, anyhow, you correct it, right? Because I cannot follow what is the right hand side where you are applying this limiting concept and other things. But anyhow, it is a very nice argument in this stability analysis using the renewal theorem and Morse identity. It's very good argument. A simple but subtle, it will come to a conclusion how that stability can be established. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your nice talk.
Yes.
Now let us move on to the, yeah. Yes, please. It's okay. I think now we thank the speaker for his nice talk. And then we go to the, move on to the next speaker, item number 20, PP03 FN04, map PH1, PH2 bar 2Q with the offshore service, consultations and the interruptions. Ayyappan and Sangeeta. Who is going to present? Sangeeta?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I invite Sangeeta to present those findings.
Thank you, sir. I'll share my screen, sir.
Share your screen. Ayyappan is there? Ayyappan is listening?
Sir, I couldn't share my screen, sir. It tells that only host can share the screen.
PDF file or PPT to the center. They will help you.
Okay.
Organizers.
Yes, sir. Now I'm able to share my screen.
Sir, we have made her as a co-host. We have.
CMS.
Are you able to share the screen now?
No, she could not.
We have made
share her.
Okay. Can you see the share screen green color button at the bottom? Sangeeta ma'am, are you able to see the share screen button at the bottom of the Zoom page?
Is screen visible? Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Is my screen visible, sir?
Yeah, visible. Fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, sir. First, I would like to express my gratitude to all the organizers, both on and off the screen, for organizing this wonderful conference. And I'm Sangeeta, research scholar under the guidance of Dr. G. Ayyappan, Pondicherry Engineering College. And the title of my presentation is a map phase 1, phase 2 queue with optional service, consultation, and interruptions. We have two server, namely regular and a main server, providing regular and optional servers, which follows phase type distribution. This system has been modeled into a QBD process investigating steady state using matrix analytic technique, where the block matrix of the generated matrix have finite dimensions. We have already discussed busy period, waiting time distribution for our model, and a few performance measures of the system are also derived and examined with a few numerical results. Out of this presentation is model description, stability condition, invariant probability vector, analysis of a busy period, waiting time analysis, performance measures, numerical results, and few references. Description. Consider a service system with one main server and one regular server, where the main server offers consultation to the regular server whenever he is not certain in his service. At the time of consultation, the service of the customer or the main server is said to be interrupted. At most, maximum of M interruptions are allowed to the customer of the main server. Further, if the regular server needs consultation even after interruptions, he or she has to wait until the service of the customer at the main server is completed. The maximum number of consultation possible to the regular server during the service of the particular customer is M. The regular server needs consultation only when he is providing a regular service. The main server is allowed to take multiple vacation whenever there is no customer in the system, and this multiple vacation follows exponential distribution. The customers arrives to the system according to the Markovian arrival process with representation D0 and D1 of order M. The regular and optional service time of both the server follows phase type distribution, alpha 1 T1, alpha 2 T2, beta 1 S1, beta 2 S2 respectively, with the N1 and N2 phases. Mathematical formulation. These are the few representation we have taken for deriving the mathematical model. N of T is the number of customers in the system. S1 of T is the server status of regular server. Zero represents when the server is idle, and when he is offering regular service and optional service 1 and 2 respectively. Similarly, S2 of T is the server status of the main server. And here 0 represents when the server is offering consultation, and 1 for the regular service, and 2 for optional service, and 3 when he is availing vacation. B1 of T is the number of consultation. I'm sorry. B1 of the number of consultation completed by the regular server during the service of a particular customer up to M. B2 of T and B3 of T is the number of interruptions completed by the customer at the main server while he's busy with the regular and optional service respectively. Similarly, C1 and C2 of T is the service phase of the regular server and the main server respectively, and M of T is a Markovian array process. The model can be represented by this infinite generator. This model can be represented by the Markovian process. N of T, S1 of T, S2 of T, B1, B2, B1 of T, B2 of T, B3 of T, C1 of T, C2 of T, M of T, with a state space omega equal to L of 0, union L of 1, and union L of I, where L of 0 represents when there is a 0 in the system, 0 customer in the system, and L of 1 represents when there is one customer in the system, and similarly L of I represents when there is an I number of system, respectively. The infinite seminal generator matrix Q of the Markov chain is as follows, and where its entries, where all of its entries are block matrix, which has been represented below, and these are the topics of you. And moving on to stability condition, the analysis of a model has been discussed under steady state. Let us define A equal to A0 plus A1 plus A2, where A is an infine-terminal generator matrix, and as a result, we can find an invariant probability vector psi of A, which obeys psi A equal to 0 and psi E equal to 1. This vector psi can be found by solving the succeeding equations subject to the normalized condition psi equal to 1. The necessary and sufficient condition required by the system to attain the stability is psi A not E is less than psi A to E, where A naught represents the arrival matrix of the from the transition state I to I plus 1, and A2 represents the service completed matrix from the transition state I to I minus 1. Invariant probability vector. Let X denotes the transition probability vector of the infine-terminal generator Q. This X satisfies the two conditions XQ equal to 0 and XE equal to 1. The invariant probability vector can be computed using Xi plus 1 equal to X2 R power I minus 1 for all I greater than or equal to 2, where R is the least non-negative solution of this quadratic equation, R square A2 plus R A1 plus A naught equal to 0. The remaining vectors X0, X1 and X2 can be found using this set of equations based on the normalizing condition X0 E plus X1 E plus X2 of I minus R whole inverse E equal to 1, where R can be calculated using logarithmic reduction algorithm defined by further, this invariant probability vector X1 has been partitioned as X1 equal to U01, U02, U13, and U23. Similarly, Xi has been partitioned into Vi11, I12, I13, I21, I22, I23 for all I greater than or equal to 2. These are their specified dimensions and descriptions of this partition. Like V01 represents when the regular server is idle, when the main server is offering regular service, and similarly U02 refers to main server is idle while regular server is idle while the main server is offering optional service. Similarly, U13, V13 and U23, V23 represents the main server is availing vacation while the regular server is offering regular and optional service respectively. Similarly, V11 and V12 represents the regular server and is offering regular service, and the main server offering regular and optional service respectively. And V21 and V22 represents the regular servers offering optional service, and while the main server is offering regular and optional service respectively. Moving on to analysis of busy period. Busy period refers to the time between the customer's entrance on the system with the 0 customers and the epoch at which the system size hits null for the first time. These are the few notations that we have been taken into consideration. And C J dash of K comma X is the probability that the QBD enters the level I minus 1 by making precisely K transition to the left, and also by entering the state I J dash condition that it started in the state I comma J at T equal to 0. Satisfying the equation G bar equal to Z of Si minus A1 whole inverse A2 plus Si minus A1 whole inverse A naught G square. As far as the boundary states are concerned, namely 2, 1 and 0, we have the following sets of equations. Moments can easily evaluated as follows using the previously defined notations. Next, analysis of waiting time distribution. Let us now introduce an observing a continuous time Markov chain with the state space given by star union 1 bar, 2 bar, etc. On entering into the observing state star, an arriving tagged customer will begin to get service. The transition matrix of this observing Markovian chain is given by a Q bar. Where its entries are block matrix as represented below, and these block matrix here letter z of 0, z1, z2, etc. represents the invariant probability vector of the system size at the arrival epoch, and z1 has been further partitioned as z101, 102, 113, 123 with the help of the invariant probability vector x1 and xi of q that has been partitioned previously. The invariant probability vector at the arrival time in the steady state is as follows. Defining z of t equal to z star, z1, z2, etc. with the dimension as specified here, and with the differential equation z dash of t equal to z of t into q bar, we can easily frame the following equations. And the Laplace Regis transform for the first passage time at level 2 specified by omega of s, and the Laplace Stieltjes transform of the observing state time to the state star from the level I equal to 0, 1 and 2 is as indicated below. We can easily observe that the Laplace transformation for the distribution of waiting time is W bar of s equal to Z1 of 0, phi of 1 comma s plus W of s into phi of 2 comma s. And the expected waiting time, E of W is represented as minus Z0 of 0, phi dash of 1 comma 0 minus W dash of 0, E minus W of 0, phi of 2 comma 0. And the middle component W dash of 0 into E can be found easily using by introducing an irreducible matrix V2 such that V2 equal to V0 E1 V0 E, where V0 is a stationary probability vector of V such that V0 V equal to V0 and V0 E equal to 1. And moreover, this V2 satisfies V2 equal to V2 V equal to V2. After finding all these components, we can easily find the expected waiting time of the system. Performance measures to investigate the behavior of a model in the steady state. A few performance measures are enumerated, like when the probability of the regular server is idle, when the probability of the main server is on vacation. Similarly, when the regular server is offering a regular and optional service respectively, and the main server is offering regular and optional service respectively. And the main server is on vacation while the regular server offering regular service. Expected system size, probability at the system is empty. Expected system size when both servers offering regular service, and similarly when both the servers offering optional service, and the regular server while the regular server is offering regular and the main server is offering optional service, and vice versa. And And E1, E2, and E3 are all column vectors with the dimension as specified below. And these are the dimensions. Numerical result. The qualitative behavior of this model will be understood with the help of few illustrations. And here, 3 sets of values from the literature are taken into input for both arrival and the service time distribution. And these are and numerals. We explore the influence of the vacation time, eta versus the predicted system size in this table. Increase in the as there is an increase in the vacation rate, reduces the length of the vacation time, resulting the greater service availability for providing the service, resulting with a smaller expected system size. Table 3 represents when it is an exponential service, and table 4 represents when it is a long service. Similarly, table 5 represents that is a higher exponential service. And the other reference. And thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you very much for the presentation. From the audience, any questions? Clarification? Yeah.
Congrats.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Could you kindly go to the reference section? That
Yes, sir.
what are the references? Let me just read it. I'm not able to exactly see.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. This question is number 2 and number 3, number 4.
That's okay. I have a say. I was just trying to see the references. Okay. In fact, this sort of a consultation, service consultation by the servers from
Yes,
the
sir.
main server was introduced by Professor Srinivas Chakravarti. Okay, so you have a optional service.
Yes, sir.
Which one is the optional service, first or second?
Both.
You did you mention which is optional, which is a main service? Sangeeta?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have done, sir. The N1.
First one is a main service.
Regular server and the main server does both the regular service as well as the optional service, sir.
No. See, there is one main service and another one regular, optional, or the customer has the option of choosing a service, one as main and the other one as optional. No.
No, sir. No, sir. The customer
No,
can
okay.
decide whether they need for optional service, sir.
It is the first one that is a main service and the second one optional. So probability of taking an optional service, you are assuming. What is the probability of assuming an optional service? Because that factor has to come into the stability condition, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is there.
Can you repeat me, sir?
And then how many regular, regular servers? There is one main server and the remaining are regular servers. How many regular servers? Just one?
I'm not getting you correctly, sir. How many of them are?
There is a main server who is the consulting
Yes, sir.
who is the consultation.
Yes, sir.
For the regular service,
server.
it is consultation. And then
Yes, sir.
how many regular servers are there? Something like
Only one, sir.
in a bank, there is a manager who is the main server, and then there are
And the subordinate.
office staff. When
Only one.
oh, just one only. You are restricting to one.
Yes, sir.
But then
Yes, sir,
I
I
wonder,
only
the stability condition is so big an expression. How it happened? Because we are getting compact expressions for the stability. In your case, it is a too long, very, very huge expression. Professor Tangaraj might have noticed it.
Sir, this Q matrix.
I found
And
it
Q
too big an
is
expression.
like
I don't know whether there is a way of simplifying. I found it so big. Is there a way to simplify that? That is what I was wondering. Maybe you can.
Each entry in this matrix is again a square matrix. So
Yeah, because there is an optional service, so I don't think there should be so big an expression for stability. Anyway, it is well, you can check it again. Okay, that's okay.
oh, okay, sir.
No, this is, yes, further questions, sir? No further questions? So now I have, why we have said that it is invariant probability vector, not steady state probability vector. Are they same or different?
Yes, sir, can you? What's up?
Invariant probability. Is it different from steady state probability vector?
Which we have already, sir, x0, x1, it's entirely different, sir. Q for the, we are finding that for Q, sir. And this one we are finding for the stability conditions, sir. Psi1 and Psi2 we are finding for the stability conditions, sir.
Okay, ma, stability conditions, no, the stability attains means it is steady state. Invariant means you may have infinite number of invariant distributions. But a steady statement, it is unique. Why? Because I wonder, are you having an infinite number of invariant probability vectors?
When we restrict to the...
Because now you saw that pi q equal to 0 and pi e equal to 1. If it satisfies, that satisfies, you know, so the stability is attained, and then you have that steady state probability vector. Invariant probability vector is just a equation. It not necessarily equal to 1, pi equal to 1. Any solution of system of linear equations is called invariant invariant vector. But when you say that, you can say that invariant probability vector, because suppose two states, half plus half you can take, 1 by 4, 2 by 4 you can take, 1 by 3, 2 by 3. All these things they serve as an invariant probability vector, but not steady state. Okay, steady state means it is unique. Okay, now you are using unique or infinite number of invariant probability distributions. Now this is a technique. Okay, now think about it and then correctly. Okay, next you go to this text description.
Which one, sir?
State space of your system, of your stochastic process. Go back. What is your, you have a multitude of multi-dimensional stochastic process. The dimension I could not, above, I naught, I1, I0. Up.
Sir.
Right. What is that stochastic process, Markov process? First of all, is it a
L0 represents zero number of customers in the system, sir, and L1 represents one number of customers in the system.
T of T, B1 of T, B2 of T, B3 of T, 3 plus 6 and then 3, 9 states. So this Markov chain, 9. Where is that 9? I0 is 5, I0 is 3, I1 is 5, and then I of I is infinitely many. Where you have the stochastic process for this? Your state space from what is
will not come into consideration, sir. It depends upon the situation, also. Whenever he's not availing for consultation, then the number of accounting it will not come into consideration, sir.
See this I11, J1, J2, K1, K2, L. What is the stochastic process for this? This is the state.
For arrival and service, I have taken that, sir.
And then you are taking the union. And then I think this part, this slide and this part of your paper should be tuned. Okay. Whatever you say, the Markov process, dimension, say 2 dimension. If it is 3 dimension, say 3 dimension. Now here I could see that so many dimensions are there. Then how to go from one state to another state when you say that it is a Markov process? Transitions. Okay, so there are certain difficulties are there. So be careful in describing the state space of the stochastic process. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Professor Arivigan is on the line.
Actually, it's a 8th dimensional stochastic process. She has put M up in the last one. That should not be there. M of T is a Markov process. Therefore, if you look at here, it's only 8 dimensions are there, not 9th dimension. Okay. Right?
But
I0 M of T here. You should not put M of T.
It's 3-dimensional, another one is 5-dimensional, and another one is 3 plus 2, 5, the 8-dimensional. I think it is. Otherwise, you have to put other parts as 0, 0, 0. Empty sets. Cross product. Now,
sir, can I explain that L of 1, sir? L of 1 means 1, 0, 1, K2 L, which represents one customer in the system, and 0 represents the server status, which means that the first server, regular server is idle, and the main server, next one represents the main server is doing regular service. So we are speaking about the service of a regular main server. So service phase of the main server comes into consideration. So that we have written K2 there, and L represents the arrival Markovian process.
But mathematical representation must be tuned. It's not correct way of writing. Okay? This is not the right way of writing. What you have mind is different, but what you have written is different. That's what I mean. Okay? When you send it for publication, they will ask for explanation.
Okay, sir.
Okay? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Now we thank the presenter for a nice presentation and giving it is I was sitting in the sea by immersed, but whereas here I am immersed in the mathematical symbols and then so many ideas. It's very fast and then very difficult to go through it. Anyhow, I thank the speaker for a nice mathematical idea. Now I'll go to the last speaker of this session, namely, yes. 21, PP03FN05, MG1 WRQ with the negative arrivals, fluctuating modes of service, manual feedback, single vacation and orbital search. My God, all tags are here in this scheme model. So now I invite Purnima. Purnima is present, I think.
Yes, sir.
Present here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, right. I invite you to present this your paper.
Sir, my screen is visible, sir.
Ah, yes.
Sir?
You are visible, your slide is visible.
Okay, sir. Thank you. A very good morning to everyone. I am Purnima Ratnaswamy, PhD scholar under the guidance of Dr. K. Kriba. She is working as assistant professor, Department of Mathematics in Avinashlingam University. My presentation is about MG on retrial queue with negative arrivals, fluctuating modes of service, and Bernoulli feedback, single vacation, and orbital search. First, introduction of retail queuing system. Retail queuing system, when the arriving customer finds the server is busy, leaves the service area and joins the orbit and retrying for their service after some random amount of time. The waiting area is called as orbit. This is the basic structure of queuing system. When arriving customers finds the server busy, then we will join the orbit and retrying of their service for a random amount of time. After getting service, he leaves the system or join the orbit as a feedback customer. GQ. Queues with negative arrivals called GQ. GQ were first introduced by Jalandi in 1989 with a view to modeling neural networks. There are three types of basic behavior of GQs. The first one is removes all the customers in the system, removes only a customer from the head of the system, including the customer being in service, removes only a customer from the end of the system. This is my main objective of my model. I analyze the steady-state behavior of the single arrival retail queuing models with negative customer by considering the concept like fluctuating modes of service, additional optional service, and service breakdown, delayed repair, and feedback and service vacation. This is this methodology I follow to describe my model. To describe my model, the introduction of the queuing theory was mathematically formulated using supplementary variable technique, and the variable performance measures are derived using supplementary variable technique. A very important concept in the retail queuing theory is the stochastic decomposition law is also verified in my model. Then numerical results also presented. This is the basic structure of my model. I considered a single server retail queuing system with two types of independent arrivals, that is positive and negative. Positive customers arrive according to Poisson process with rate lambda plus. The server provides two types of service, type 1 and type 2. Customer choose type 1 service with probability P1 and type 2 service with probability P2. If you add P1 plus P2, you will get equal to 1. If the positive customer finds the server free, then the customer receives service immediately. Otherwise, he joins the orbit. The completion of the retrial, the completion of the conditional rate of the retrial time is eta. Then the condition completion rate of service time is mu. Then after receiving service, the customer may join the orbit as feedback customer with probability delta or depart the system with the complementary probability 1 minus delta. At the completion of each service, the server takes a single vacation with the probability tau. Otherwise, he waits for the another customer with the complementary probability 1 minus tau. if the vacation completion rate is considered as new. If the orbit is non-empty during the ideal period, the server searches for the customer in the orbit with the probability theta or remains ideal with the probability 1 minus theta. Well, when arriving the negative customers arrive according to Poisson process with rate lambda minus, the arrival of a negative customer removes all the positive customers being in service from the system and make the server down. When the server fails, it stops providing service and sends for repair immediately. The repair condition completion rate is considered as beta. This is my steady state equation of my model for the single arrival. This is my boundary condition for my derived model. Using the normalizing condition, I check whether my model is right or wrong. These are the performance measures I derived using the supplementary variable technique. That is the probability that the system is empty, the probability that the server is idle during retrial time, the probability that the server is busy, when the probability that the server is down, the probability that the server is on vacation, the partial probability generating function of the orbit size, that is PQ of Z, the partial probability generating function of the system size is PS of Z, the mean number of customers in the orbit is LQ, the mean number of customers in the system LS are also derived. This is the stochastic model, stochastic decomposition law. The decomposition property states that the number of customers in the system in steady state as a random point of time, that is LS, is distributed at the sum of two independent random variables, one of which is L, the mean number of customers in single arrival queue with negative arrivals and feedback, and the other is the Li, the mean number of customers in the orbit given the server is ideal or on vacation. I derived the stochastic model is Pf of Z is equal to pi of Z into psi of Z, where Ps of Z is the number of customers in the system and the psi of Z is the probability generating function of the number of customers in the orbit when the system is idle or on vacation. Then pi of Z is represents the probability generating function, the system size in the classical single arrival with negative arrivals feedback and orbital search. This is the numerical results I derived from my model. Here I naught and I represents the I naught plus I is the probability of the server is idle, and P is represents the probability of the server busy, and V is the probability of server is on vacation. LS is the mean number of customers in the system. If I naught and I is decreases with lambda plus, that is positive arrival rate is increases, and if the I naught plus I1 is increases with mu1 is increases, that is service rate is increases. Then the probability of a server busy and probability of server is on vacation, and the mean number of customers in the service is also increases for the arrival rate, the positive arrival rate is increases. If mu1 is increases, then the server is on vacation is increases, and probability of server is in busy and the mean number of customers is also decreases for the service rate is increases. Next, the variation of I naught and I are given in that above figures. In this, I naught and I1 theta is a orbital search rate and delta is a feedback search rate. If delta is increases, then I naught plus I, that is probability the server is ideal is decreases, and the probability of the server and a server busy and the probability of the server vacation is increases. If theta, that is if the theta, that is in orbital search rate, is increases, then the no effect on I0 plus I, P and V. For the delta increases, then LS increases. For the theta is increases, then the LS decreases. The last, the effect of I0 plus I and the P, V and LS against the parameter delta minus, that is the negative arrival rate, and eta, that is retrial rate, are plotted in figure. In this, I0 plus I, P and V and LS are increases in if the lambda is all the cases are decreases if the lambda minus is increases. If LS is decreases, then lambda minus and eta increases in the retrial rate. These are my references. Thank you.
Okay. The speaker has completed her talk. Any questions from the audience? Yeah, professor is there.
Okay. I have one question concerning the stability of the process. I think Purnima has not discussed the stability part. She was just going directly to some performance measures, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what is the stability condition, Purnima? See, you are considering the negative arrivals, that will be removing all customers from the system or only the one in service and the head of the queue.
One in the service in the head of the queue, sir.
Pardon me, I am not able to hear you.
So can you hear me, sir?
No, I didn't get your answer. You were telling something about that.
Actually, while arriving the negative customers, they remove the positive customer. He is in the service, sir.
In the service alone, or
yes, sir.
Or not all in the system.
Not entire queue, sir. Not entire queue. Only service.
Okay. So, what is the stability condition that you have?
Stability conditions is.
That case, there should be some stability. If all customers are removed by a negative arrival, naturally system is always stable, but that is not a necessary condition.
Yes.
You can just make use of the 3D result to show that it is stable always.
Yes.
Provided all customers are removed by the negative arrival.
Yes, sir.
But then in your case, what is stability condition? Without a stability condition, probably your parameters may not be actually working correctly. You have drawn several graphs.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So naturally, you have to just look into the question of stability. Whether you are working in the step in a situation where the system is stable, that has to be checked. I did not see any expression for the stability condition. But this is only my just remark.
Okay, sir. I will check, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question? One clarification, in all your graphs, it's a three-dimensional graph. Which portion, which quadrant is this? Because I could not identify 000 origin.
Actually, I give I give for lambda plus for 0.5 and lambda minus for 0.5, sir. Eta is equal to 3, like that, sir.
See, for any numerical value, a MATLAB or any other software will give some graph. That doesn't matter.
Okay, sir.
Professor AK was telling is absolutely correct. Without giving the stability condition, all your numerical work will become waste. So that you should give what is that stability. Otherwise, these are all numerical values. Numerical values, you can get some numerical value, you will get this. If you put some other set of numerical values, you get another graph. So producing graph must be meaningful, provided it should be supported with theoretical investigation. So that is a very important point what has pointed out. Okay, please take care while completing the paper, right? And also, should always start from the origin. I have to see, because when you are saying delta increasing or other part is increasing, which one is delta? Delta means delta will be anything. You must explain the quantity for which it is increasing or decreasing, right? What rate? Probability it is increasing, whether it's a parameter is increasing. Don't say that delta or theta or alpha, but in terms of technical words, you must explain what they are. Okay. Otherwise, so then the presentation and everything, explanation, delta and other Greek symbols, what we use, it's only simplify the wordings. But when you explain it, you must say that what it stands for. Okay. Please take care of all these aspects when you are submitting the paper, or either in the journal or in the conferences. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good luck. We are the concluding part of this session. I thank all the speakers, Sindhu, Baljot Singh, and then Rosin, Sangeeta, and Purnima. So I thank all the speakers for their good effort to present their investigation in this wonderful international workshop on retrial queues. No doubt, as I pointed out in the inaugural session, and then in the way of journey in the racket through retrial queues, we have seen so many stars, so many planets in our cosmos. So I thank the organizer again and again for giving a wonderful opportunity to see or to listen the investigations carried out by stalled speakers. Thank you very much. I record my thanks in a very large measure to my guru, Professor Krishnamurthy, and Joshua and his wonderful team for making this workshop a success. Thank you very much. Thank you one and all. CMS College Studio, I completed.
Professor Tangiraj, thank you very much for chairing the session and conducting it quite nicely with a lot of discussions. It was really quite rewarding for the participants. Thank you very much. And for all the help that you extended to this program. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for chairing the session. We request all the participants to join for the valedictory session, which will begin soon. I repeat, we request all the participants to join for the valedictory session, which will begin soon. As we wait to begin the valedictory session, we would like to show a few pictures of the technical team or the team WRQ 2021. We shall now begin the valedictory session. May I call upon Professor Achyuta Krishnamurthy, Co-Chair WRQ 2021 CMS College Kottayam, for few words.
Namaste, all participants. After 3 days of, or 2.5 days of really fruitful discussions, we have come to a concluding session. I believe that the workshop went on very well, thanks to the participants taking active participation in this program. And from the organizing side, there was a lot of cooperation among different groups involved in that. And therefore, things were all going on very well. Probably in this situation, I feel that online programs go much better than offline programs, because there will be some other programs to attend in the offline programs, whereas here it is all just the same thing. All can work together. Nobody has to do for seeing somebody off or anything like that. All are in the meeting. And therefore, it is a great advantage. Only thing is that we are not able to meet physically. That disadvantage is always there. And therefore, after the conference, every day's activities, we are not able to discuss. All these limitations are also a consequence of this. But in the days of this corona and such problems, where travel is becoming more and more difficult, this is the best alternative possible. So we believe that you are all quite satisfied with the way the program was conducted. There was even a last-minute speculation that it should be postponed, but we decided to stick to this, because a postponement would mean that again a tendency to postpone further. So we felt it should be conducted at whatever cost. And in a short time, things were all just moving very fast, and then things culminated in, I believe still that it went on very well. Thank you all the main speakers, the contributory speakers, all the participants. Thanks to Professor Reinobel for giving all the directions for conducting the program. Now, I have nothing more to say except a big thanks to all of you. Thank you very much.
We now have our principal, Dr. Verghese Joshua, co-chair of WRQ 2021, for few words.
Distinguished delegates, as Professor Krishnamurthy said, namaste to all. On behalf of CMS College, I express a sincere thanks to all people, particularly the chairman of International Steering Committee, members, the keynote speaker, plenary speakers, and organizing committee members, chairs, and co-conveners. To all, a big thanks. And CMS College considers this as a proud moment And we are indebted to those people who are responsible for put their faith in CMS College for conducting this 13th International Workshop on Retail Queues. Though we are made shift to this conference to online, may I hope we have conducted this in a substantially good manner. We are indebted to so many people. In particular, Professor Randy Nobel, who steered this from Netherlands. And I must not mention the other names because it's a long list. So once again, on behalf of CMS College and CMS College family community, a very big thanks to all, and we are looking forward to the next edition of 14th WRQ. And I hope Dr. Varghese Jacob, co-convener, will say more about in this validity section. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua, sir. Now the platform is all yours. The stage is open for any feedbacks. May I first call upon Professor Randy Noble for your feedback, please?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. It is a great pleasure that everything has gone so well. I think it was in August that Professor Krishnamurti contacted me about organizing the 13th International Workshop on Retrial Queue. And well, we all wanted that it could happen within this year, so in 2021. And time was very short, and I was rather skeptical about the possibilities of this. But we stick to beginning of December, and Krishnamurti immediately picked this up, and then we moved. We started moving and contacting all the people of the former workshops. And then I must say that the group of Kottayam, Amberly, Joshua, Krishnamurti, and all the others who collaborated did a wonderful job. And I couldn't believe that when the deadline is November 30, that the workshop can already start on December 6. But they all succeeded. They sent a beautiful program. Also technically with the Zoom sessions, everything went very, very, very fine. And I think it is a great success. On the other hand, of course, an online conference has its limitations. And I think a part of this success is also that many of us know each other quite well. We have more than 20, 25 years of experience to see each other on a regular basis, not only in the retrial workshops, but also in many other conferences on queuing in Israel or in Russia or in Spain or in Greece or in many other places. And I think that fact that many of us knew each other already quite well made the workshop was a little bit smooth here, that we could contact each other. We could say, well, I could say, Antonis, now you've said enough. I never would have said that if I would not know Antonis very well. I could say some words to Alexander when I was, etc., etc. Of course, there were many participants, also many people, of course, I don't know. That I think in the beginning at the inauguration ceremony, there were 112 or 120 participants, and of course, I didn't know them. But I think for the people who attended this workshop for the first time, that they got something from this atmosphere, although it was online. So let's promise to each other that the next workshop, the 14th International Workshop on Retrial Queue, will be again live, will be again a physical experience that we can look each other in the eyes and shake hands and communicate during coffee breaks, etc. Because of course that's the heart of a conference, this more personal contact which creates ideas for new research, etc., and also creates many international friendships. So of course it's not now we don't have the opportunity now to decide where to go next, but I think in 2023 or maybe at the end of 2022 we should try to have another workshop. We have this international steering committee. I hope to contact these people well, let's say within a few months, and then we can think about a next meeting. Of course a lot of will depend on the development of the corona crisis. Now in Europe we need booster vaccinations, etc., to be able to travel, and if that continues then I'm very pessimistic, and then probably also the 14th workshop will be online again. But we must be optimistic and and believe that this crisis will end someday, and that we can return to, let's say, normal life, and have our conferences like we had these conferences the last 25 years. In the beginning, the inauguration ceremony, it has been remembered that the first workshop was in '98 in Spain, organized by late Jesus Artelejo, and we do this also in his honor. So I think this is my last word. I wish you all the best and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. May I have Professor Antonis Economou for a few words, please?
Yes, I would like to express my gratitude and congratulations to the organizing committee, Professor Krishnamurti, Professor Joshua, and all the other people that organized this wonderful workshop. I think it was the best we could aspire under the circumstances of the coronavirus disease. I mean, you did the best that it could be done. I would like also to thank very much Professor Ryan Nobel that keeps the flame of this series of workshops alive. His coordination and initiative is very important to keep this series alive, and I think it's a forum that gathers people from all over the globe. We have new people, and in fact this opportunity, the online opportunity of this year was nice because we have too many people that joined our community. Of course, the challenge is to preserve them also in a usual event in life. So I would like also to praise all the talks. I listened to very interesting presentations, and I feel full of new stuff and ideas. And good success to all of you, and I hope to see you in the next event with an eye-to-eye contact. Thank you very much all for your time.
Thank you, Professor. Can we have Professor V. Tankaraj for a few words also?
Said, I thank the organizers for having given an opportunity to participate in this wonderful workshop on retail queues and related topics. Really, though it is online, but it is simply marvelous. As I was expecting, but the really topmost content in their research papers, I could realize that how this retail queues spread its wings to go top and top and top. And of course, we cannot realize that we are walking on the rosy garden. Because when you walk on the rosy garden, you must remember that there are the thorns are also there in the path. Therefore, difficulties are always there when you do research in this particular topic. And then I could see that how many parameters they are introducing, how many so many stochastic process they are including. Almost in one of the papers, almost all components, jargons are included, and still they could write and then devote their precious time to produce such a nice paper and make it available to us today and for the past 3 days. It's really wonderful, nice. I enjoyed throughout all the 3 days talks and meeting great people and excellent and online facility provided by CMS College. Of course, here and there some snacks will be there that we cannot, that is out of our control. But anyhow, all the speakers and all organizers and the members of the team, I salute for their wonderful service. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Can we now have Professor Alexander Dudin for a few words?
Thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity to speak several words. I can repeat the words by Rain Nobel. It was very difficult to imagine that such successful workshop will be organized during so short period of time. And I see that workshop was very successful, as in the number of participants, as in the quality of presentations, and as in the quality of organization of sessions via internet. So I congratulate Rain Nobel, who spent a lot of efforts to organize this workshop, and also to Professor Krishnamurti sir, and to Joshua for good organization and management of this conference. And also, as Rain told, I hope that we will meet at the next conference, and hopefully it will be conference in reality, not in internet. So I wish everybody good health and success, and see you at the next workshop in WRQ. Bye-bye.
We have posted the feedback link for WRQ 2021 once again in the chat box. Those who haven't filled them, you have time to fill. We now have Professor Alexander Moiseev and Svetlana Moiseeva on Zoom screen. Could you please give us your feedback, sir?
Dear colleagues, our team very thankful for the organization of the workshop. Thankful to Rain Nobel and Professor Krishnamurti and Professor Joshua and all Indian team. We are very glad to participate in this workshop every year. Each time, sorry. I think we will continue this tradition, and I hope somewhere we can gather so many scientists in offline regime at our workshop. Thank you. Thank to all participants, to organizers. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, would you like to share something? Svetlana Moisiva, ma'am. Professor Svetlana Moisiva, would you like to say something?
Svetlana Moiseyeva agree with me. Yeah.
Thanks. Я уже писала, кстати, здесь. Что сказать?
Скажи, что было все интересно.
Я уже писала.
Ты говори.
Я не знаю, как сказать.
Давай, помогу.
Thanks for Professor Krishnamurti. I am glad to see Professor Nobel, Professor Funduk. Кто еще там? Thanks.
Dudin.
Dudin, да, профессор Dudin, Alexander
And
Dudin, and
all
participants.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very nice.
Now, in this context, I have to mention one very important thing. The greetings for Christmas, which is normally celebrated on the 25th of December, except in Russia, probably it is in January that Christmas is falling. So to everyone, a Merry Christmas and a very happy, prosperous, and productive, academically productive, socially enjoyable 2022. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All the best to everybody. We keep in touch to organize the next workshop. Okay, bye-bye.
We are not
leaving all.
We are not
Alexander, all the best.
Sir, we are not yet done. We
keep
have
in
few more talks to complete.
Oh,
If there's
sorry.
Yeah, okay. If there's anybody more to give a feedback, we are always open for that. Okay, in that case, we shall move. Gratitude is a fairest blossom which springs from the soul. Every conference is an experience. The external fades away and the internal lingers and echoes in the most depth of our hearts. We are reminded that events like this are milestones on the journey of life and reminds of God's fidelity all through. As we come to the close of the 3-day WRQ 2021 webinar, let me request Dr. Verghese Jacob, co-convener WRQ, to propose a vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, one and all present virtually in this closing ceremony of WRQ 2021. A very special moment ends, and this occasion, WRQ 2021 is no exception. On behalf of WRQ 2021 Organizing Committee, I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who have directly or indirectly contributed to this workshop. At the outset, I would like to propose hearty vote of thanks to Professor Sabu Thomas, Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi University and world-renowned scientist, who inaugurated WRQ 2021 on 6th December 2021. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to all main speakers of WRQ 2021, keynote speaker Professor Antonis Economou, University of Athens, Greece. Plenary speakers, Professor Srinivas R. Chakravarti, Kottayam University, Michigan, USA. Professor Vivek Borkar, Indian Institute of Technology, Mumbai, India. Professor Quan Li, Beijing University of Technology, China. Professor Tuan Pungtuk, University of Shukuba, Japan. Professor Randy Nobel, Virgin University, Amsterdam, Netherlands. And Professor A. Krishnamurthy, who gave an impressive talk in loving memory of Professor Jesus Arthalaju. We are very much delighted in your willingness on accepting our invitation and for taking our time from their busy schedule and enlightening us with your profound knowledge. Thank you all, our great professors. We offer our sincere thanks to Right Reverend Dr. Malil Sabu Koshi-Cherian, Bishop and Manager, CMS College Kottayam, patron of WRQ 2021, for his whole and heart support in this workshop. Let me express our sincere thanks to Professor Randy Nobel, Chairman, and other members of International Steering Committee WRQ to permit us to host this workshop virtually at this prestigious institution and first college in India. We remain grateful to Professor V. Thangaraj, Professor G. Arviringanan, Professor A. Krishnamurthy, Professor Tuan Pungtuk, Professor Randy Nobel for chairing paper presentation sessions. We are grateful to all others presenters who took part in the paper presentation session. Thank you all. Moving on, let me convey our gratitude Professor D. Kannan, Georgia University, USA, Professor Alexander Dudin, Belarus University, who are the well-wishers of CMS College Kottayam. Special mention to our beloved coaches, WRQ 2021, Dr. Varghese C. Joshua, Principal, CMS College Kottayam, and my mentor, Professor A. Krishnamurthy, being the catalyst that inspired us to do our best and stand as pillar of power of this WRQ 2021. Many eminent scholars, students across the globe have found time to attend this workshop. We have more than 100 participants, among 40 were abroad. With a deep sense of appreciation, we thank you all for being with us. We have fortunate to be supported by a team of very active, dedicated members of the organizing committee of WRQ 2021, who are well-versed in their job. I want to thank the people who worked behind the scene to execute this workshop, our technical arrangement team. Thanks to WRQ 2021 convener, Dr. Ambali P. Matthew, our research scholars, Mr. Khamis Abdullah Khamis Al-Makbali from Oman, Srimati Nisha Thomas, Ms. Grishma Joseph, Dr. Dhania Babu for their unflinching support. A special big thanks to Mr. Midun R. Mohan, Administrator of Educational Multimedia Resource Center, CMS College, for his technical support and coordination. A very grateful to Mr. Caroline Susan Ajit for her excellent anchoring throughout this session. Thank you, Karen. Sincere thanks to Dr. Vipin I. Thomas, Department of Chemistry, for his wholehearted support to this workshop. Thanks to Srimati Meenu Natarajan for website designing of WRQ 2021. Once again, on behalf of the organizing committee of WRQ 2021, I thank all the great professors, eminent scholars, and participants for sharing their valuable time. Thank you all. Goodbye.
The end of the story is a new beginning for many others. On this note, let's conclude a remarkable, memorable, and knowledgeable 13th workshop on retrial queues 2021. Let me thank the organizers of WRQ 2021 Dr. Verghese C. Joshua, Professor A. Krishnamurthy, Dr. Verghese Jacob, and Dr. Ambli P. Matthew for entrusting this duty. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Caroline Susan Ajit signing off from CMS College Kottayam. Thank you and wish you all a Merry Christmas.